Hey, my reactors, I'm back with the women of the Bible. We talking about Leah, her character, capable, capable of being strong and enduring love. She was a faithful mother and wife. Manipulated by her father, she became jealous of her sister, with whom it seems she never reconciled. Her sorrow that she lacked her sister's beauty and that her love for her husband was one-sided. Her joy that she bore Jacob 6 sons and one daughter. All right, go later. Put it up there. Put it up there. Her story. We buried my sister Rachel today, but she is still alive. I catch glimpses of her yet in Jacob's broken heart, and dark-eyed Joseph and in squalling little Benjamin, his favorite sons, Rachel's sons. I can hear my beautiful, determined sister weeping loudly for her children she might have had, stubbornly refusing to be comforted, yet who takes note of my tears. Should they flood the desert, no one will notice. Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Isaac, Zebulun, Dinah, and then Gad and Abner by my maid. These are the children God has given me, and I had given my beloved Jacob, and still he loves her best. Should my husband and I live another 100 years, I will never be his only wife. Contrary to what Leah might have felt, God had taken note of her sorrows, knowing well that Jacob's heart was too cramped a space to harbor both Rachel and Leah. He made Leah a mother not once, but 7 times, extending her influence in Jacob's household. With each child, the unhappy Leah hoped to secure her husband's affection. But each time her disappointment grew, she felt the old curse asserting her itself. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Perhaps Jacob still resented Leah for tricking him on their wedding night, disguising herself as his beloved Rachel. Surely, Leah's love has been passionate enough to deceive him until morning. She felt both glad and guilty for her part, though, truth to tell, she had little choice but to obey her father Laban in the matter. And she thanked God each day for enabling her to bear Jacob's children. Still, children often cause a mother untold sorrow. Dinah, her only daughter, has been raped by a local prince on their return to Jacob's household. Leah hardly knew how to comfort her. To make matters worse, her son Levi and Simon avenged their sister by savagely murdering a town full of people. Then Reuben disgraced himself by sleeping with his father's concubine Belial. Having God promised to protect them if they return to this land of promise, how then could such things happen? Leah wondered. True, God had watched over them as they faced Esau and his 400 men. But Leah's joy at the brothers' friendly reunion was eclipsed by her sorrow at once again, being proved the lesser loved wife. Jacob had made it plain enough by placing Rachel and her children last in their long caravan, giving them the best chance of escape should Esau turn violent. Sorry, y'all. Silence, y'all. But Jacob's love could not prevent Rachel from dying in childbirth. Leah, not Rachel, was destined to be his first and last wife. Alongside her husband, the father of Israel, she would be reserved as a mother of Israel. In fact, the promise of a Savior was carried not through Rachel's Joseph, but through Leah's Judah, whose descendants will include David, Israel's great king, and Jesus, the long-awaited Messiah. In the end, Jacob was laid to rest in the cave of Machpelah, next to his first wife, Leah, rather than his favorite wife, Rachel, who was buried somewhere out in Bethlehem. The two sisters, Rachel and Leah, remind us that life is fraught with sorrow and peril, much of it caused by sin and selfishness. Both women suffer each in her own way. The curse of Eve after she was expelled from her garden paradise, while Rachel experienced great pain in giving birth to children, Leah experienced the anguish of loving a man who seemed indifferent to her. Yet both women became mothers in Israel, leaving their homeland to play essential roles in the story of God's great plan for his people. Her life and times, marriage customs. The custom of marriage were far different in ancient biblical times from our own modern customs. Seldom did a man or woman marry for love. Jacob is a notable exception when he expresses love for Rachel and his desire to marry her. Jacob married both Rachel and sister Leah, a practice that was later forbidden by law. Usually the bride and groom were very young when they married. The bride was often around 12 and the groom around 13. Their marriage was arranged by parents and their consent was neither requested nor required. Even so, such marriage could prove to be love matches like that between Isaac and Rebekah. The marriage ceremony itself was usually very short, but the festivities connected with it could go on for many days. The groom dressed in colorful clothing and set out just before sunset with his friends and attendants and musicians for the home of his bride. For the home of the bride's parents, there the bride would be awaiting, washed and perfumed, and led the marriage procession through the village streets, accompanied by music and torch bearers to the groom's parents' home. The feast and celebration began that night and often continued for 7 days. God designed for marriage to be between one husband and one wife was often not practiced in early biblical times. Leah shared her husband Jacob with not only her sister Rachel, but their maids, Zilpah and Bilhah. Although pornography was less common after the time, God, this is hard to read. The New Testament indicates a union between one husband and one wife continues to be God's desire and desire. Okay, y'all. We'll be back with another woman of the Bible.